Hey everybody, it's me, just making another video today. My video is today is gonna be my WrestleMania series number 2. This time it's gonna be the top 10 best WWE title matches at WrestleMania. And let's get started. Sorry about that. Let's get started with this video because I told you I will bring you two videos on this week. So this is gonna be my second video, and then tomorrow I'm gonna go to the question or the video that the person wanted me to do about what bothered them, which will be tomorrow. So let's get started on this WrestleMania video. Well, the top 10 best WWE title matches. At number 10, I got Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 6. This was a pretty good matchup. I mean, the work rate in here wasn't really that good, but just from the crowd reaction, I mean, you had Ultimate Warrior, who was the most popular guy in the WWF around that time, who was starting to have a fanfare, like have a fan cult. Then you had Hulk Hogan, who had his fan base. And really, you just mash those two together, and you just really have a good match just based on the crowd reaction. And boy, was this crowd hot in this matchup. At some points in this matchup, you had the cheers going for Warrior, which overshadowed the Hogan cheers. Then you had Hulk Hogan's crowd, which kind of meshed with the Ultimate Warrior's crowd, and then just overall these two just kind of put on a clinic. And in the end, the Ultimate Warrior won, and the place went nuts when the Ultimate Warrior won. And it was sort of like a passing of the torch, with Hogan passing the torch to the Warrior, and you already know what happened with that. As the Warrior would become kind of a failed WWE champion, and then he would have to drop the belt to Sergeant Slaughter at at the Royal Rumble 1991. But when you look at this matchup, you just look at how the crowd reacted, and when one move was hit, the crowd would go nuts, and really it was just good. It was just a good matchup, and it was just a nice thing to see, and that's why I got it in number 10. At number 9, some people might argue about this, but I put Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. It wasn't the best match. It wasn't the best WWE title match, but still overall, just the story behind it made it a watchable matchup. I mean, you had Hulk Hogan, who at the time was the number one contender for the WWF title. Then you had Sergeant Slaughter, who just recently turned heel, and then he beat the Ultimate Warrior, and he was the most hated heel in the WWF around that time. Then you had the two go at it in a matchup which kind of surprised the hell out of me, because I really didn't think this match would be that good. I thought it'd be really really bad, but it was an overall kind of a good matchup, but kind of a bad. But yeah, I got it on here because it was just, I mean, it was just the crowd reaction. I mean, people wanted to just go over the rail and choke Sergeant Slaughter and just do whatever to him, because like I said, he was the most hated heel around that time. And then you had Hulk Hogan, who was your fan favorite, and then these two just put on a clinic in this matchup, with Sergeant Slaughter dominating this whole entire matchup. And then Hulk Hogan came out at the end and threw his usual Hogan offense, and then in the end, Hulk Hogan won the WWF title. And really, it was just a watchable, good matchup, but overall not a great matchup. But I still got it on here just for the story behind this matchup and the events and everything that went on in this matchup. At number 8, I got Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. What can you say about this matchup? It was a good matchup. I mean, some people say it's overrated. It kind of is, because it was long and there was no pinfall in this matchup. But overall, this was just a fun matchup. You had two of the top stars in the WWF around that time going at it. You had Shawn Michaels, you had Bret Hart. These two put on a clinic. I mean, you had some technical moves in this matchup. You had some speed and quickness in this matchup. You had some lucha libre style kind of offense in this matchup, with Shawn Michaels doing a moonsault on Bret Hart outside of the ring, or doing it in the ring. Then you had him doing a crossbody outside of the ring, and then this was just overall a good matchup. My only complaint about this matchup though was the fact that nobody got a fall off each other, and they just really waited till the 60 seconds was over and then went into sudden death, which of course at the end Shawn Michaels ended up super kicking Bret Hart. But overall this match was just dramatic, and it had everything you want in the WWF title matchup, and that's why I got it at number 8. At number 7, I got Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Now, we already know this wasn't really the best, this wasn't a good matchup. Simply the fact that Andre the Giant wasn't in good health around this time. He had back problems, so really he was limited in the ring. But overall, you had some really classic moments. You had the moment where Hulk Hogan tried to slam Andre the Giant, but Andre fell on top of him. It made you think that Hogan had no chance of beating Andre the Giant, which many people love this match just simply because simple to the fact that nobody thought Hogan would beat Andre, because Andre the Giant was undefeated around that time, and nobody pinned his shoulders to the mat, and Hulk Hogan was going out there to try to prove that. And then overall you had Andre dominate the match, then you had Hulk Hogan come back and then finally slam Andre the Giant, and then the crowd went nuts when Hulk Hogan did that. And then of course Hulk Hogan did the leg drop, then he pinned Andre, and then you didn't think that Andre would kick out, but he didn't, and then that's your match right there. So based off the emotion and then the fact that nobody thought Hogan would beat Andre, that's what made this match a classic. And then the memorable Hogan finally slamming Andre, that's what made this match a good WWE title matchup. But you already know the work rate wasn't good, but just for those moments alone just made the match even more better. At number 6, I got Ric Flair versus Randy Savage. Only a little bit to say about this. It was dramatic. It had its moments. You had Ric Flair and Randy Savage go at it for the title, and really just a fun matchup to watch. And it was just so much drama in this matchup. That's how you make a match good, when you have all dramatic elements in this matchup. And in the end, Randy Savage won, and this was just overall a fun matchup to watch. At number 5, I got Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 14. This was a good match on so many levels, because both men in this matchup were hurt, but yet they still found the courage to put on a great, decent matchup. Mainly Shawn, because he was injured and nobody really thought he could do anything in this matchup, or he would drag it down, but he busted his ass in this matchup. He did everything he could to make Steve Austin look good, and then in the end he passed the torch to Steve Austin. And this match also had its dramatic moments with the DX coming out and attacking Steve Austin, and then of course the end where Mike Tyson turns on DX and he counts the pinfall for Steve Austin. Overall, this was a good matchup. I got it at number 5. At number 4, I got Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. It had its dramatic moments. It was just a fun, good matchup, and you had Randy Savage, who was the cunning heel. He did a bunch of heel tactics in this matchup to slow Hogan down, which he did, and Hogan used his power. And overall, this was just a fun, good matchup, and that's why I got it at number 4. Number 3, I got Austin versus The Rock. They busted their ass. They put on a good clinic. You had your moments in this matchup, and then in the end, you had Stone Cold win the belt with Mick Foley coming in and counting the pinfall over The Rock. Number 2, I got Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle. Good matchup. It was a fun, good matchup between two wrestlers who can always go and always put on great matches, and then they just put on a clinic. And in the end, probably one of the best ending to a WWE title match. You had Eddie Guerrero put in the ankle lock, and then the shoe came off. Angle was wondering what the hell was happening, and Eddie Guerrero rolled him up, and then there you go. I love this matchup on so many levels. And then number 1, Steve Austin versus The Rock 2. This was just a good matchup. These two beat the hell out of each other. They put on a clinic. You had dramatic moments in this matchup. You had points in this matchup where you go, oh my God, what did I just see? And then, of course, you had the heel turn. And overall, it was just a fun matchup. Probably one of the best WWE title matches I ever seen. Anyhow, I'm running out of time. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you next video. I'm out. Peace.